Hello, everyone. My name is Sergio Conde. I am a peer mentor at the ONDAS Student Center, and with me is...
Hi, I'm Nina Masjetti. I'm also a peer mentor at the center.
And we are going to present New Gaucho 101, a presentation to teach you about the ins and outs of UCSB so that when you get here, either as a freshman or as a transfer student, you will be ready to succeed. So let's get started.
Woohoo!
Textbooks. How to get your textbooks. Well, first of all, go to ucsbstuff.com where you're going to be able to find all the required textbooks for a class. Now, once you know what books you need for a class, you don't have to buy them right away. You have other options. You can go to course reserves, which is when professors actually give the library some copies of their books so that students can check them out for 2-hour periods of time so you don't have to buy the book. Now, here is a clip on how to do this. You go to the library website and follow these instructions. Well, that was great. Now, other options that you have instead of buying your books is looking at UCSB Book Exchange. Is a group on Facebook that you can join and also free and for sale. These websites on Facebook will allow you to find books that other students are selling because they finished a class or they don't need the book anymore, and you can find it a lot cheaper than buying it from the student store or online. Another option that you have is using the interlibrary loan system. This is a UC-wide loan system. So if you need a book that's not a UCSB, they will look for it at another UC library and ship the book to you. Now you can check out the book for long periods of time. And for more information about this, you can go to the library website as well and look up more information on this service. Another option is textbook banks. Here at ONDAS, we actually have a lot of books that you can check out while you study here. We have a lot of books that are, tailored for lower division classes, so intro chem, intro physics, and many other books. You can also check out the CERC book bank, which is located at the annex in front of the Stork Tower. Other groups on campus also have book banks, so I encourage you to join groups and get to know them and see what kind of resources they have. I know the Women's Center has some more book banks. Undocumented Student Services has some book banks, so I encourage you to explore other services and see what else they can offer you. And lastly, if you cannot find a book that you can buy for cheap, you can rent your textbooks. You can rent them from the student store or from other online services. But you don't really need to buy your books when you come to college. Lastly, it's not on here, but you can also many times find the books online by typing the book title and then typing PDF next to that.
So lectures, sections, labs, and office hours. One big question is, what is the difference between lectures and sections, and should you go to both? Absolutely go to both. I know there's lots of jokes about skipping class, but don't do it. You're paying a lot of money to go to this school, so don't miss class. The difference between lecture and section is that section is a more personalized experience with smaller class sizes and usually with the TA and not a professor. And it's really there for you to go over what you learned in lecture and digest the material more. And it's very important to go to section because oftentimes they'll have quizzes and attendance recorded, so you definitely don't want to miss that. Labs are kind of like section, except you perform experiments, and it's pretty different for each kind of lab, whether it be physics or chemistry or biology, and it kind of depends on each one, but you can expect to go to lab. You will need a lab coat and usually lab goggles, and you will usually be performing different types of experiments. Office hours are private sessions with your professor, which can be one-on-one or with other students. And it's basically so that you can get more personalized help and you can ask questions that maybe you didn't want to ask in front of a big lecture hall and get more help on the material. And or you can just go ask about general life stuff or about your professor or about research. It's a great way to get to know your professors at this school.
Awesome. Just to add to that, you can also find some professors holding office hours at the ONDAS Student Center. So just a little fun fact. All right, so printing. There's a lot of free resources on campus for printing. You don't have to buy a printer. It can get really expensive, especially if you're writing a lot for your major. You can get 200 free pages per quarter at the Collab Labs. The locations are listed below, and that's per quarter. But if you run out because you're printing a lot, you print your readings or papers, then you can also check out the AS Pardal Center. This place also gives you 200 pages per quarter, but you do have to go in there and sign up so that they give you a special password that you can use then to print, right? So that's 400 free pages per quarter. Now, if you run out of those, or at any time, you can come into the ONDAS Student Center, where we have 20 pages per day for free, front and back, that you can use. And we're available here for you. And next slide, Nina. All right, so food. For food, there are many options that you have. Being a college student, money can be tight sometimes, but that doesn't mean that you should not eat well. One of the good options for getting food would be CalFresh. During the beginning of the year and throughout the year, actually, they table in front of the library and other places where they'll help you sign up for CalFresh, and they throw other programs where they can help you sign up for CalFresh. If not, you can also go to the AS Food Bank. They can help you with that. And that's essentially free money for you to, get food, get groceries, and so that you can eat well. The AS Food Bank also provides you with free food. All you do is walk in there, you provide your perm number, you get a little basket and start grabbing food. It's amazing. So you don't have to buy a lot of groceries. You can depend on this for weekly groceries. That's kind of what I do. You can also get meal vouchers. Here at the ONDAS Student Center, we have some meal vouchers that you can pick up. You give us your perm number, and you can go ahead and go to a dining common and have a meal. You can also find them at the Transfer Student Center and Financial Aid Office. Walk in there and also ask about it. If you're hungry, and you can go ahead and to the dining commons. Also, I encourage you, especially in the beginning of the school year and in the beginning of the quarters, there's a lot of campus events that go on. So then each, campus org has their own recruiting events with a bunch of free food. So what I personally do is attend a bunch of events that I might not even join some orgs now that I'm graduating soon. But I mean, it's free food, and you also get to network and meet cool people. And yeah.
Great. So housing is really important. A lot of people don't realize that you have to start looking for housing pretty fast. By the time you get here, it's only about a couple months before you have to start looking for housing for your next year. Where to look? I usually just walk around IV and kind of walk around the areas that you think you would want to live and see different houses, usually they'll have for rent signs on them with the number to call. So that's a great way to get more information about certain houses. There's also the housing fair, which is put on by the university, where a lot of tenants come to advertise their locations, and those fairs often have cheaper rent housing because they're more smaller landlords. Next is the UCSB Community Housing Services. They post a lot of different rentals for lease for the upcoming year, and they can also help you out if you maybe started looking too late. They oftentimes will have a lot of listings still available. Lastly, there's free and for sale. You can post about needing a roommate, about needing subleasing. Free and for sale is a great resource to use at UCSB.
So yeah, another thing before going to the next slide is UCSB Community Housing Services can help you with many other things such as disputes with landlords, and it can also help you record when you move in and record when you move out. Now, recording is helpful so that you can keep records of the state of the apartment or house when you move in and move out, so that when you go out of that apartment in the future, the landlord doesn't put extra costs, right? And this happens a lot. There's a lot of disputes, and if that happens, if the landlord tries to charge you too much, you can go to UCSB Community Housing Services and ask them for help. It's something that not a lot of students do, but it's really encouraged for you to videotape your move-ins.
So transportation, most people do live close to the university or in Santa Barbara, so it's really important to find a nice way to get here if you don't have a car. So first option I recommend, especially if you live in IV, is a bike. Most people use bikes around Isla Vista and UCSB. You can get them from the AS Bike Shop. There's also the CSO quarterly bike sale, where each bike is $50 and you basically pick one of these used bikes, and yeah, you go home with it. Another option is free and for sale again. People are selling their used bikes and you can just bid on them and find one. Not to mention buying one brand new from stores like Target, online, all that good stuff. There's also skateboards, and the same thing applies. You can buy them used from someone from free and for sale or buy them new. A lot of people skateboard around here. Next, if you live farther downtown, you can take the bus to school, or even actually, I used to ride the bus from FT or Sandcat dorm because that's kind of far. So if you live a little bit away and you don't really want to bike or walk or skateboard, you can get a bus sticker from the AS ticket office, theater and dance ticket office, and registrar's office, and actually ride the bus for free throughout Santa Barbara, not just in Isla Vista. And sbmtd.gov can give you a trip planner and a bus tracker. Another way to find the bus schedule, my favorite way, is using Google Maps and putting where you need to go in, and then using the little bus icon, and it tells you exactly which route to take and what time the bus is coming.
Yeah, so another little thing about the AS Bike Shop, if your bike ever breaks down or needs oil or air or anything, you can find a lot of help at the AS Bike Shop. They can repair it at a cheaper cost than IV stores might charge you. And this is because the bike shop is funded by your fees. So, I encourage you to use it. I had an experience where I got run over in IV once, and my bike was just trashed. I had to, I asked the person that ran me over to drive me to the bike shop to get it fixed because I had a quiz, chem quiz that morning. And so the people at the bike shop straightened out the wheels, they fixed it up, and it looked like nothing had happened, and they didn't charge me anything. So if you ever need maintenance for your bikes, please go there.
So I know these are just some of the topics, and there's a lot more to consider here at UCSB, like getting involved with research and study abroad. And we actually here at ONDAS have some webinars on those topics. So if you would like more information on that,
Yeah, you can go ahead and go to our Facebook page or our YouTube page where you can find webinars, recorded webinars of ORCA and EAP, Education Abroad Program. They're very informational, really awesome presentations. So I encourage you to go to those websites and check them out if you're interested.
and also study tips, IV life do's and don'ts, internships, living with roommates, finals/dead week. If you need any help with any of those subject matters, come over to the OSC and ask us whatever questions you'd like, and also the Transfer Student Center. And ask a peer mentor, we'll be sure to help you out. We also have events throughout the year on these topics, so be sure to look out on our Facebook page for those events.
Yeah, so this concludes the presentation. And thank you so much for listening. And once again, if you have any questions, please come by the ONDAS Student Center, Transfer Student Center. We love helping students. And with that, have a beautiful day. Thank you.
Bye. You got this.